Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the SD Cross Silhouette Sisquiede Titans color version, and it's pretty awesome, I gotta say. As far as SD kits go, not a big SD guy myself, but I love the design of the Sisquiede, so I was super excited to see that this was coming out as a kit in any form at long last. It's a pretty obscure design, so I never really expected this to come out as a kit really at any point in time. And I gotta say, I was a little bit disappointed that it came out as an SD first, when I much would have rather preferred an HG or even an RE100. I think this would be a really good candidate for an RE100 kit. So hopefully we'll see one of those released in the future, but in the meantime it did come out as an SD first, and I guess it does kind of make sense because it was originally an SD design in a Gundam game. So I guess I shouldn't be too much surprised about that. And of course, if you guys didn't know, this is available in 2 different colors, and neither of them P Bandai. Nice enough that Bandai was able to do that for us, so thank you very much. The AUG colors, and then this, the Titans colors. So I just opted for the Titans color version, but both of the kits are going to be exactly the same, other than just the colors for them. So, but overall, yeah, it really matches up with my previous experience with the SD Cross Silhouette line. I built the ARC 782 Gundam and the Nightingale. I really enjoyed both of those, again, despite not really being a big SD guy. So if you are interested in maybe trying out an SD kit and you want a pretty good solid one that you know is going to be a nice kit at least, then I'd say give the SD Cross Silhouette line a try, because in my experience so far, it does seem to be a really nice one. So let's get a look at what you get included with this kit here. The first thing you have included with this is this clear sticker here for the mono eye. It's this kind of like a jewel circle sticker there, which goes on the mono eye. Really nice one. So that's why I actually haven't put it on the kit now, because I'm actually going to use this probably once I get the kit actually all painted up. So didn't want to have to put it on now and then have to try to take it off and save it later. But anyway, that does go on there on the mono eye if you wanted to use that. We have our 2 beam sabers with the clear pink beam saber effect parts for those. Really nice. Nowhere to put these on the kit when not in use, but you just got those as extra weapons to use. And then you have its massive eye field launcher. This gun is insanely ridiculous in its true form. In SD form, it's still pretty big, but it's not quite as ridiculous as it looks in like the full non-SD form. But anyway, it's really cool. It does have a little bit of articulation in that this secondary handle here off to the side is just on a ball joint, so that can move around here. So you're meant to plug one hand onto this side and the other hand holding onto here for a 2-handed grip on this. But it's still really cool. Compared to the Gundam itself, it's still going to be taller than it. So it is kind of in proportion with the Gundam, as the gun is definitely taller than the Gundam in its full form. But with that, that's it for the accessories. Let's get a look here at the stickers. So you've got a few of them. You've got, of course, a green sticker up there for the camera on the top of the head. On the front of the shoulders here, 2 stickers, one dark blue one at the top and at the bottom of the front of the shoulders. And then for the chest here, you got this white sticker on that part, but now that part is actually blue, and the only surface area of that blue part that's showing is covered up with this white sticker. So what I mean is that that part really could have been white, and then this wouldn't have needed a sticker at all, but there's no other white on around the kit, so I guess Bandai just didn't want to go through the trouble of separating one part of the runner to be white instead of just making it just all blue. So that's unfortunate that that wasn't just its own piece, but if you're painting it, you know, easy enough to just paint that part white. And then you get stickers in here for the center of the yellow pair of parts there for the yellow vents there on the chest. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 little black stickers for that. And then here on the legs, you got this sticker that's yellow for inside the vent and then dark blue for around the bottom of the legs there. So you've got one on the inside and outside of each leg. So a total of 4 of those. And that's it. So really not all that sticker heavy, and a lot of that stuff is just me filling into small little color apps that should be easy enough to paint. As for the color separation like built into it, it's actually really quite nice. You have like the red there for the chin, this dark blue part that's an actual dark blue piece separated there, this red for the top of the head, of course, red, dark blue, and blue there for these separate parts there on the side of the shoulders. So overall really nice. Let's talk a little bit about the articulation. The mono eye does move. You can just easily remove the top of the head there, and you can rotate that side to side like that, easy enough, and nice and simple to pop off the top of the head there as well. As for the articulation of that, you can get that to look up to about there, which is really not going to be all that much, but it's slightly looking up, I suppose, and then down to there. In the stomach section, you basically just have some rotation here side to side. If you pull that up a little bit to create a little bit of a gap there, you can have, I guess, a little bit of a stomach crunch, but it's just very loose, so it's not really going to stay in place at all. As for the shoulders, this part here on the side does actually move up and down a little bit there on its own, but you're able to bring up the arm to about 90 degrees. That's going to be about the extent of that. You can swing this shoulder forward and back just a little bit like that, not really a whole lot. No elbow joint there at all, but the hand is just on a ball joint, so you can just kind of move that around as a ball joint does. Front and back skirts are fixed, but the side skirts will move up and down around a little bit because those are just on ball joints, but they're just going to pop off pretty easily if you're moving them around too much. And the legs are attached via a ball joint up there, so you can kind of move those around a little bit, but not really all that much. The feet there as well, also attached via a ball joint, but you can point the toes down to about there, which is not too bad, but otherwise not really going to be a whole lot of movement there at the ankle. Up underneath the feet, you do have some detail, but then also some hollow spaces there as well. And then back around to the backpack, of course, so we have each of these 4 bits on there, which are attached via a ball joint. These do open up, but that's kind of for its transformation into the high speed mode. So you kind of have to reattach those. We'll go over that in a moment. But that is it for the articulation. You can, of course, extend the proportions and the articulation of the kit by purchasing separately an SD Cross Silhouette frame. So this would be in the SD mode. This would be for making it in the Cross Silhouette mode. I'm going to do that later on in the review to show you guys how that's going to look with the extended bits there. So I think it'll look much better, probably with a gray frame, or if you're going to be painting, it'll be better. With the white frame, it's probably going to look a little bit weird, but this was all I had at the moment, so we'll take a look at that later on. So here's how it looks transformed into its high speed form. Basically, you take the side skirts, attach them onto the backpack, take the backpack parts, attach them onto the side skirts, you fold the arms down, remove the hands, and actually remove and change the arrangement of the chest parts as well, the parts on the side of the chest. You take those off and then point them upwards and put them back on. It's a relatively simple transformation. Of course, it's an SD kit. It's not going to be all that complicated, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's a kind of interesting transformation. It obviously still looks like a Gundam. It's not like the kind of transformation where it's meant to make it look like it's transformed into like an airplane of sorts, some sort of fighter jet. In this case, it just looks like it's the same Gundam, but it's now flying fast using its backpack parts as like a full-on skirt there around it. So anyway, it's a pretty cool, pretty interesting looking flight form for it. So I gotta say, I'm really interested in how this might look if this does ever come out as a RE or an HG type kit. Alright guys, I'm posed up with the big gun in one hand. I gotta say, this is what I was afraid of, that it's not able to hold it up at all. Just the joint at the shoulder is just too weak, and there's just not really enough going on there for it to be able to hold up the gun in any sort of action pose with just one hand. Now, I think it might work with 2 hands. We'll find out in a moment. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit hard to do any action pose with this anyway, just because of the general lack of articulation of it being an SD kit. There's just not really much to move around there for that, so that might be a little bit disappointing for those of you guys who wanted to do some sort of action pose with this, especially a one-handed pose on the giant weapon there. Alright, so here it is with the cross silhouette frame installed. They're going to be looking a little bit weird with that white frame bit there showing in a bunch of the areas, the upper arms, the thighs, and the feet, all of that. But you get an idea of how much more improved the articulation is, so I would definitely recommend buying this, unless you're really dedicated to having it in the very micro SD form. If you want to have more out of the kit, then this is definitely a good way to do it. Now, of course, it is going to make it more expensive. Buying the base kit with the cross silhouette frame is going to, now you're getting up into the area of $20, $25, something like that, probably for it, which is going to be about the equivalent of a good size HG kit, and so maybe not going to be appealing to a lot of people. But if you're a big fan of the Sisquiede or a big fan of SD kits in general, I don't think it's too high a price to pay for a really nice kit out of this one. The transformation, the weapons, and everything for it is going to be really good. Now, for the final test to see if it can hold up the weapon with 2 hands, I'm interested to find out, so let's check it out. Alright, so here it is, and it is able to hold up the gun pretty well. That said, a little bit difficult just because of the reach of the arms, and even though it has the CS frame in there and it's got better articulation now, it still has some trouble getting that 2-handed grip on there, so you're going to be pretty limited in the actual posing of this, but it does look convincing. Once you get it into the pose, it does look pretty cool. One thing I noticed too about the gun that I hadn't really noticed before is that there's points to plug in the handles on both the left and the right side of the gun, so you can actually choose whether you wanted to have this on the left or the right side of the kit. If you wanted to have the 2 of the kits together or something like that, having one holding on the right side, one on the left side might look kind of cool if you had the Titans and the AOOB version together or something like that, or 2 of these or something perhaps and have them mirrored. So it could look pretty cool. Overall though, the kit is really cool, really nice. A couple of seam lines there on the gun for the most part, because it's basically just 2 parts sandwiched together. Other than that, nothing really too much in the way of seam lines on it. The construction, the part separation is all really quite nice. I had a little bit of trouble building it. If you guys watched the live stream when I was building this, you saw I had a little bit of trouble on the parts on the backpack, just getting those put together, but Other than that, of course, the construction is all really nice. So gotta say, highly recommend this kit if you're a fan of the design or just looking for a nice, cool SD kit to build, something a little bit different. Mono Eye Gundam with a big giant gun on it, so it's definitely not the average thing you see every day, so it's worth checking out if you're interested. So that is it for the review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, big thank you to SD Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Do check the link to their site down below. You can get 10% off with everything using that ZakuAurelius 10 coupon code there. It's all in the description, so check that out. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to SD Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.